Wow, guys, Nancy Pelosi was caught on camera saying something so horrendous that it's about to backfire. You guys gotta check this video out.
The difference is we don't engage in the politics of personal destruction. The fact is that if we just talk about the issues, for example, I think it would be interesting to people in these districts to know that the Speaker wants to take away the guarantee of Medicare. So I think talking about issues is where we should be. What is the difference in one person being Speaker than another? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear.
Listen.
You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident. But I think I'm worth the trouble, quite frankly. I love the fray. I'm not disrespectful of people's views. I respect any positive things that people want to say, or even negative, as long as it's constructive.
Wow, guys, the wrap-up smear tactic. She just told you exactly what they did and what they're doing to Donald Trump. You know, you demonize someone, you attach a crazy amount of accusations to their name, so when they speak out, you don't believe them or you just sit there and you don't know what to think. You know, they want to confuse you in the media and scare you away from the Republicans, Donald Trump, and make this guy as someone bad. In the liberal world, guys, accusation is the same as a conviction, and that's just not right. And I don't think in any timeline that should be right. You can't sit there and accuse someone. That's not democracy. You're innocent until proven guilty, guys. Let's keep going.
During the first Trump presidency, as Speaker, you took very public stands to challenge Donald Trump when he was president. Democrats now are in the minority in this new Congress. Tom Suozzi from New York recently said it would be a mistake for Democrats to reflexively oppose Trump's ideas and brand themselves a national resistance movement. This is a Democrat who won in a Trump district, and he's warning fellow Democrats. Do you agree resistance is a bad strategy this time?
Well, let me just say, historically, when I became Speaker, it was when I ran with a Republican president, George Bush, and we opposed his policies. He wanted to privatize Social Security. And so we went against that, and we won. And then when I won again as Speaker, Donald Trump was president. And we ran against him by saying we're going to save the Affordable Care Act. This is it. We were saving Social Security in the beginning. Now we're saving the Affordable Care Act. So we won the majority, yes, by disagreeing on certain points. That doesn't mean you disagree on every issue. No, but it does.
I don't know if you guys noticed, man, but Nancy Pelosi has always been the person that could sit there, you know, for a whole hour of an interview and she could spin it and spin it and spin it. So you never hear her answer a question. But she could talk so fluently about how they weaponize the DOJ to go after Trump, how they sit there and ruin his name. Let's keep going, guys.
Does mean that you protect the values that bring you to Congress, the vision that you have about health care, the values that you have about health care again, because health care is an issue that is so important because the health care costs are so high that it affects whether you can have housing, whether you can have food on the table and the rest. And so
you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like health care?
Well, I don't know that he wants to be on health care.
Are there opportunities to work with him on anything?
No, there have been other issues. No, on health care, no. But well, we worked with George Bush on many issues. And
She's trying her hardest not to slip up, guys. I want to ask you a question right now. How much money would you pay to listen to Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi have a conversation? You know, I don't think there will be any type of understanding there. I think it would just be silence after 5 minutes, you know?
several issues, let me say. And no, I don't say that we should work with him on health care. I'm saying we are out there to protect the Affordable Care Act. He said Obamacare sucks. Now, that's not something we want to work with, that Obamacare sucks. So we want to be out there to save the Affordable Care Act and recognize that reducing the cost of health care can enable people to have housing, have food on the table, and the rest. And there's studies that show the relationship between ability to have housing and food when you have good, affordable care.
Guys, I didn't want to trouble you and watch the whole entire interview of that one because she sat there and tried to blame the house attack that she had on her husband on someone from the January 6th attack. That's just flat out a lie. Why didn't Margaret Brennan call her out on that? You know, she calls all the Republicans out that come on there, Marco Rubio, anybody. She tries to call them out and try to get a gotcha question. The guy that attacked their home had mental health issues. Let's keep going, guys.
Rivera joins us live from Washington, D.C. So, Maddie, what's this resistance look like this time around?
Well, I think that's part of the problem that Democrats are experiencing right now. They have not been able to unite around one cohesive strategy. So since retaking office, President Trump has moved with lightning speed to reshape the federal government. And Democrats largely share one thing in common. They are angry. But again, they've been struggling with how to effectively push back against this administration. They're reportedly now weighing two approaches ahead of the president's joint address to Congress. Axios reports House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer do want members to attend with a +1. A congressional memo obtained by Axios asks House Democrats attending the joint address bring a guest who has been harmed by the Trump administration's early actions. Party leaders are encouraging members to stay disciplined and focus on kitchen table issues and protecting programs like Medicaid. They're hoping that approach resonates more with voters instead of simply interrupting the president's speech. But there are Democrats who believe not showing up at all sends a better message. Per Axios, Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, and Martin Heinrich are some of those who are considering not going. Senator Chris Murphy is reportedly also considering not attending, telling Axios when President Trump does the speech, it's not a serious event. Charlie, Rachel, and Peter.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Maddie.
Maddie.
You got it.
Well, you know, the resistance.
I think part of the reason that Nancy Pelosi doesn't want anybody doing anything dramatic, two reasons. One, because what if somebody comes up with something more iconic than ripping a piece of paper? It's possible. Number two, the Dems don't have a seat. They don't have the good seat behind the president.
And not only that, man, but they need to stop acting like little children. You know, it's time to come to agreement. And everybody went out and they voted for Trump. So you know there's been a huge mandate for change. I don't know why we're still having these arguments, these debates, and trying to boycott Trump. Why are you trying to boycott Trump, and why are you not hopping on this Trump train? He's trying to make America great, and he has reasons on everything he's doing. You know, everybody wants to sit there and show me a little petty little article on Facebook saying, oh, he's going to take away Medicare. He's taking away Medicare for your son that's about to be 30 years old that thinks he doesn't have to work. He think he could just keep living off the system, taking advantage of the system. You know, it's time for people to step up and realize it's time for change. I keep saying the same thing because I want people to get it through their thick skulls. It's time for change. You can't just be sitting around and being lazy anymore and collecting government money and government help. For that single mother, you know, that has a couple kids, okay, yeah, I can understand. I can see that. I can see food stamps for someone like that. You know, first it was the border patrol. It was border security, getting the illegals out here that was taking advantage of the system. Now it's you guys that taking advantage of the system, and now you want to boycott Trump even more. Elizabeth Warren stepping up. Investigation will be launched soon. That's what I believe. Let's keep going, guys.
This year.
Oh, right.
And
they
so,
can't do the antics.
It's going to be J.D. Vance there on the left and Mike Johnson. So anything that they would be doing, any of these rank and file members, it would just come across as too small.
I really love your profound cynicism about her motives, and I think that no one has ever gone broke in Washington, D.C. For a lack of cynicism. You can't have too much cynicism. I think you're exactly right about it. But the problem with it is, for her, she doesn't want to be outdone. But the problem is that as the protests become more and more ridiculous and futile, This was what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago that she did the alligator clap?
The alligator clap is, it's so, like, it was so great. Put that back up. It was.
It's better than the baby shark. The baby shark.
The baby shark. Listen, it's going to be an interesting night. As you said, as you pointed out, Charlie, it's not really a State of the Union because it's only 2 weeks in. I'm sorry, 1 month in. Yeah. But usually these events. Okay, come on, you guys. I can't get enough of that. I told you earlier. For like,
people think these politicians, some of them that are up there, belong in Washington. You know, and I sat there and I was like, these people belong in prison. They're corrupt as corrupt gets. You know, they've been taking advantage of the system, collecting checks, saying they're sending money here, saying they're sending money there, and really it's going to them for forever. And then they weaponize. Come on, man, like, weaponizing the DOJ was icing on the cake to me. I knew my voice had to go out for something good for once. Let's keep going, guys. Let's get this video over with. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new.
It's
for weeks after when that happened, I was just clapping at everyone like this. I just loved it.
I would take the garbage out and my wife would go.
Good job, Charlie.
Way to go.
However, I would say this is going to be different because in just a month, he actually has wins. He actually can say, I did this. I shut down the border and illegal crossings are down 90%. I cut this many millions from the government. I eliminated this Department of Waste. I got rid of basically USAID and all the warmongering and regime change crap they were doing in that agency. There is a lot going on right now, and he can get up there in just 1 month and say, I've done this. Look, get ready for more.
Guys, I'm just so happy I got off that Democratic plantation, you know, because everybody was mad at me when I was looking into Trump, actually doing research. Everybody was mad at me when I was like, hey, he's not actually wrong. You know, it's time to make America the golden age. It's time to make America not disrespected by other countries. Zelensky came in the White House and thought he was the man. He thought he could demand things. No, don't cut off my money. No, dude, your allowance is over. Time out. You know, until we can agree on something. You won't help? Show me why you won't help. Show me why you deserve help. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Send this to all your friends. Subscribe if you're new. We out.